First of all, we also would like to thank all organizers of Kyoto University, and thank you all of you for contributing for our very good platform here. So Ms. Nguyen Thi and I are very happy to welcome you to visit Vietnam National University of Hanoi. And today we would like to share with you some opportunity, challenges, and risks of internationalization of education, mostly the structure of our Vietnam education. And okay, so my presentation focused on 3 parts, some major aspects of globalization and internationalization of education, concept, key manifestation, opportunity, challenge, and risks. And the second part is internationalization of Vietnamese higher education. As a case, I would like to share some facts of Vietnam. And the third one, implication for future development. And I think for the first part, I will go quickly because of time limitation. And we can clearly see from this morning and in general about the globalization as the key trends of our 21st century now. And then internationalization of education is the way our university respond to globalization. And again, for this term, I like to review because in fact in Vietnam we still a little confused about that. That's why I like just to point out the distinction phenomena. Globalization, we clearly see this is inevitable trends, and internationalization, as I said, is the way our university level to respond to globalization. And also the key distinction of this notion is about the control. Internationalization we can control at our university level and other level. And also we can clearly see from this morning 2 main sphere of action of our this process. First, in internationalization at home and internationalization abroad. So at home we can see, including the way we improve our curriculum and the way we invite our experts from outside. And then I think this morning we already have a lot of good examples for this sphere of action. And also we can see 2 major mechanisms of the way we do internationalization of education. First, via trade mechanism like WTO and GATT recently, and the other one, non-profit mechanism via international cooperation with ODA project and joint training program and with UNESCO and perspective. And the way we do mostly among our university and nation now follows the second one. And we also can clearly see the key trends of our internationalization of education. First, the mobility of students, and then this is some yes, some facts that we can see our sending students abroad is 43% of total, and then Europe 34%, and then Africa 12%, and North America 7%, and South Africa 3%. And we can see China, including Hong Kong, 10%, and South Korea 5%, and India 4%. So we clearly see in our region the big trend is the mobility of students, and also in research of you can see in the research in Australia, and then by 2025. they think roughly about 7.2 million students maybe pursue some higher education internationally, and an increase 188% over the 2006. And the other manifestation is the overseas operation of program and institutions. And the third one, collaboration in teaching and doing research. Another trend also is shifting or expanding curricular consideration in light of globalization and internationalization to produce global citizens with global competence, like skill communicator, effective critical thinker, dynamic problem solver, and productive team member. And again, we can, I can see a lot of good example from our excellent presenter before. And I think for the last one is very important about establishment of network for internationalization of education, like a university network for internationalization, such as UNESCO, or we have very good example from even Japan. We can see we have twinning and university network, Africa-Asia University Dialogue for Education Development, and I think in Japan you have Global 30 Project, and then including a lot of good university. And now I would like to quickly review some opportunity for us, like internationalization motivating us, many institutions around the world, to move from being a marginal, occasional and activity to more central administration, and to react and to proactive stand to the going up of globalization. Another one, to providing more graduate and scholar with perspective and insights that increase their capacity to function in a globalized society, and expanding capacity building for under-resourced institutions and systems, and promoting research and training collaboration and quality improvement, and opening new possibility to higher education with rapidly expanding information technology infrastructure, like new model of online learning, for example, and enhancing university network for internationalization to improve knowledge and skill in all aspects of educational management and leadership. I think we clearly see it from our presentation today also. And very important for us, especially for Vietnam, to see the challenge and risk of internationalization. And we can clearly see most of cross-border programs typically follow the structure of the provider, and home country may or may not be compatible with the education system, cultural norm, or labor market requirement of the host country. And another one, for the poor, the world's poorest country and most resource-deprived institutions, the opportunity to engage internationally can be extremely limited, because we having to cope with a foreign donor, unpredictable and shifting priority, as well as disconnect between non-local funder priority and local needs and interests. And also funding and distributing appropriate resources is very difficult. And another challenge we can see is the problem with inequity. We can see the influence of the northern, as the way the researcher or the educator always use in their research, and the largely English-speaking paradigm for producing knowledge and setting scientific and scholar agenda dominate. And then the elite university in the world, wealthiest country, hold a disproportionate influence over the development of international standards for scholarship, modern for managing institutions, and approaches to teaching and learning. And another challenge, the domination of specific language. We can already, some of your presenters already mentioned about the language now. And the other one also, we can see the international opportunity available to own equitably also have problem, because students and schools are most likely to take advantage of the range of the new opportunity in the globalized higher education environment are typically the rich country or the or otherwise socially privileged, like some of our colleagues already mentioned about, like they like to go America and Australia and England or something. And so the question that still need to discuss how to make a balance in terms of global equity in educational development. And I also would like to emphasize here about the rate. I think I should say shortly about the way the big problem now is the quality, yes, the quality, especially for Vietnam, and also the brain drain. This is the problem. Yet we think about the global talents and global development, but also how we can keep and recruit and cultivate and attract the global talent or the talent for our country. To keep it is a very important thing. And again, we can clearly see the global migration of talent make it possible for frontier nations and institutions, and the oil and the power continue to exert powerful influence, and national autonomy in regard to education is also certainly at risk, and closely relate to the concern about the increasing commodification of higher education. And now I like to share with you some major challenge for Vietnamese higher education, and also in terms of internationalization. And for the two last decades, Vietnam have, since 1987, with đổi mới or open door policy, and Vietnam have made significant progress in increasing the size and diversity of its higher education system. But in terms of quality, however, as pointed out in our Ministry of Education and Training report and also in World Economic Forum report in 2011 and 12 and other research, that the system is still left behind the region and not up to international standards, especially the area of governance, program, curricula, teaching and learning methods, academic staff qualification, research, international publication and infrastructure. And we can see in the range of World Economic Forum report based on 12 pillars of competitiveness, Vietnam ranked 65 among 142 countries. And then Star left went behind our neighbor here. Like you can see Japan and Malaysia and China, Thailand and Indonesia, for example. And we remain a sign of contradiction between demand of socialism and the trend toward a growing market economy. I quickly review with you because, again, we can see later to the way we have the policy to improve internationalization. And then if we think about Vietnamese higher education, we also cannot, we have to think about the influence of foreign country. For example, enduring Chinese influence, French colonial influence, Chinese about 1,000 years, French about 80 years, for example, and then about more than 20 years of the U.S. in the South Vietnam. And now we have mixed the way we do reform, also the mix between a lot of different countries like U.S. and then Japan and China and that's the mixed thing in our reform now. And then again, with own challenge we face, as I mentioned, the reform agenda, higher education in 2005, the Vietnam government emphasized on the reform comprehensive and fundamental reform of higher education. So we really focus on the internationalization. And we can see at the other university, we have the problem with, we mostly have the internationalization follow the sending students study. And then here I just show you quickly some facts of Vietnam. And then we don't have time to review, but you can see a lot of recently the law of education, law on higher education, and decree of all mention about the way we open for internationalization, and you can review at the reference. You can quickly see all the policy recently. And then also the last one, the decision 1400 really mentioned, and then Vietnamese government invest a lot of money for the project 2020 for the year from 2008 to 2020 for students and faculty to study English abroad. And then practice, we can see right now in the data for 2011, we have Vietnamese over about 100,000 students outbound, and then but only have 10% scholarship. And then so Vietnamese have, we can see Vietnam have a lot of project like 322, 911, 165, and 1400, and then all the Vietnamese pay money for students and faculty to study abroad, especially for students study, for example, 165, and the government pay for faculty or other administrator can study master degree in different area in the other country. And then you can see the total number of students study overseas in 2011, and mostly in Australia, and second US, and we at the end you can see. And the other practice as that we establishment of a lot of international standard university, like you can see AIT and Vietnam, Thailand, and RMIT, Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology in Australia, and Vietnam, German, and recently Vietnamese have policy to try to create, to build 5 foreign university in Vietnam. And you can again see a lot of practice, a lot of joint training program, mostly the Vietnamese university and do internationalization focus on joint training program. And again, you can see we have a lot of advanced program with other foreign country. And then we have 90, we can see number of joint training programs, 394. And then number of active joint training program, 361. And again, this is a joint training program, the graph to see we have with the other country. And we see the opportunity for Vietnamese, as I mentioned, we have different projects to invest a lot of money for that. And then come back to international office of us, we, I mentioned about this, our presentation, because I like we need to think about, especially for Vietnam at national level, to think about the policy for encourage to internationalization. Because for us at university level, international office still have a lot of difficulty to push this trend up. So we do, as our neighbor country already say about the role of international office, mostly we do like a bureaucratic way to keep communicating or to make sure all activity are in the right legal and something like that. So we really need to think about, especially at our big platform here, we need to think our network together for international office, for the way we have regional international policy. And now that's why the major idea of my presentation, because that is the question, how to make internationalization work effectively in terms of cultivating global talent. So we really need the network. For Vietnam, for example, we need national policy to focus. Today, we have already this morning a lot of good examples from Chinese university. We see the government pay attention to do for cultivate or for develop the human resource for Vietnam. So we need to develop the collaboration network international. We need to establish, especially the quality control. We need to have a lot of funding. Yes, and again, I would like, we really need to establish the regional and international policy that can monitor the quality of internationalization of education, especially to reduce brain drain and improve equity or make a balance in the flow of talent for the country. And I think for my, again, a lot of things I would like to say, but I think I emphasize again, if we fail to develop capacity at a national level to understand and effective deal with globalization and internationalization of education is serious risk, particularly for the less developed country. And then, in fact, in Vietnam, we still don't have very good management mechanism for internationalization. Even this is the government really emphasize on that. And again, the need to clearly define the concept of global citizen or global talent and the standard to cultivate, to manage, or to attract. This resource is still ahead. So I think that's the message I would like to share, and also I'm sure I will continue to learn a lot of good strategy from you. But I think this is a very good platform for us. For this is my first time to attend this workshop, but I still think this is valuable for us. Again, to think about we do together. We just talked to some of our colleagues in our lunch that we think about student exchange, faculty exchange, but we need to think about us, about the people who work at international office, to work together and to design together some good policy to improve, to promote the quality of our exchange to students. As the team today of our workshop, really good team, how international office can really be the driving force for cultivation, global talent. Also, I think we should continue to discuss, and tomorrow maybe we can have some nice picture for that. So thank you very much for your listening. Thank you.